Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. I am here for our weekly energy reading. It is the week that everybody has been talking about for at least 2 years now. The solar eclipse has been on the radar. It is April 8th on Monday. There is a new moon solar eclipse. And we just had an earthquake here in New Jersey. So there's already a lot of movement, external things happening. I don't know if it's related to the eclipse. I don't know what you guys all believe in your belief systems, but I believe that there are humans on this planet in an area where I live that control the weather to keep us in our fear and to keep us underneath their, what do you want to call it? Their umbrella, I guess. Because if we are in distress and if we need money and if we need all of these resources and they have it all, then they have control of us. So that's my belief system. Take it or leave it. You can click off of this video if you're not really vibing with that. Maybe you've never even heard of that before. And I would like to open you up and say, explore it, do your own research, see what you can figure out, see what it feels like in your body. But I've done so much research for myself. And it started back in 2018 when I started to awaken. I started to see the world differently. I started to hear about all the corrupt things and then I realized, wow, my soul chose to be a warrior during this time, to be a light worker, a light bringer, to help overpower that darkness. And unfortunately, when we awaken, we have to see the darkness. We have to talk about it. We have to address it. You can't just like shove it under the rug and say, I don't want to look at this. Nope, I don't want to look at it. No, we need you to suit up. We need you to get ready because things are getting a little bit intense. And as we know, during 2020, things were a little intense. And a lot of people, I don't want to get too far into it, but there was just such a divide, and we have to shine a light like a flashlight, which I believe this solar eclipse is kind of like. It's like shining a flashlight on more of that darkness, and more people are starting to wake up and say like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that we were being controlled all these years, So I believe God is trying to wake everybody up to what's really going on so we can make the change. And unfortunately, things happen. Things have to get worse before they get better. And that's why I started my channel, because I want to guide you all and give you the messages that you need to hear to make sure that you're in alignment, that you're shining your light, that you're getting out of that umbrella and you are not, feeding and putting more money in their pockets. And you're making money on your own and starting your own business and feeding your own family with your special gifts and your talents. And I like waking up every day knowing that I work for myself and I'm doing this and I'm making it and it's working and it's wonderful. And I want it for everybody. I don't want anybody else feeding that awful toxic system that has been created. And I got to open up Sacred Space. Sorry for the long spiel, but this is the way the world is. And I'm somebody who's very quiet talking about it. I talk about it with my little close group of friends. But now I'm starting to speak out more because I think it's time. And we just have to be ready for what's coming. And I would love to be that messenger that helps you prepare and get you sharing your gifts and get you in your own freedom. So let's open up sacred space. Let's call on our guides, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron. Please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and whitest light messages to come through. Please bless me. Bless my cards. Bless my viewers and my community. Shout out to Awaken Your Magic, all of you lovely humans in there. And if you are not a member in my community, get your cute hiney over there because there's so much magic going on. We are sharing books, we're doing live Zooms, we're doing readings, coaching calls, one-on-one chats. You basically have access to me and anything that you might want to ask me about your journey. If you need assistance on your journey, join my community. It's $44 a month, so worth it. And we're going to meet weekly on Zoom. I'm going to put this here. I feel guided to grab a crystal and just hold it for a second. I don't know why. I feel like we need a little extra grounding right now Take a deep breath wherever you are. Drop your shoulders. Feel the energy of the silence. Be still. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going with it. So I hope you're going with it with me. Really calm that nervous system down. Put your hand on your heart. When you breathe in, your belly should rise and push out. And then when you exhale, it should fall back into your spine. Say, I am safe. I am protected. I am safe. I am protected. And they're playing with my nose. It's going to start itching. No, it's going to get all red. Okay. So because I think I just went on that little tangent and it might have stirred up some fear in some people, I think that's why I was meant to ground somebody just then. And I used to be like that too, you guys. My friend Elisa, she's like so into all this stuff. She's like my little researcher. I'm like, I don't want to watch the news. Not that the news is right anyway, but I don't want to hear about all this stuff. I don't want to know where the world is going. I don't want to know about the dark things in the world. I want to be rainbows and sunshine and all that, you know? And she would be like, Michelle, you need to know. You have to be able to understand the light and the dark. And then I finally was like, all right, I got to listen to her. As much as I resisted it for like a year. I was like, I don't want to hear about this. I'm like, you cannot talk to me about it. And now I look at it like, wow, I can't believe I was so weak to not be able to handle the realness of what our world is and how dark it is. But so for anybody out there, if you just felt really ungrounded with me talking about these things, or if you're like, yes, Michelle, I feel the same way, drop a comment, like it, like the video. But it can be really hard when we spiritually awaken to face the truth. And I always say it's hard to face our own truth when we're like, oh crap, look at all the crap I did before I spiritually awakened. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry, shame, guilt. We got to throw it all out in the trash. But then to look at the world and, you know, the things that they do, they spray chemicals in our air, they're putting chemicals in our food, they're killing the crops, they're killing the animals. There's all these like hidden things going on in our world that we are kind of, you know, starting to awaken to. And some people are awakened to this 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But now it's called, this is literally, we're living in a time, you guys, it's called the Great Awakening, where if you were to have this overhead view of the planet and all these bodies walking around, you know, and pretend like each body all of a sudden like a light bulb goes off inside of them and now they're glowing on the globe. So you're seeing all these bodies, they're light up here, they're one's lighting up here, and then they all just start to trickle and lighten, right? They're becoming more enlightened. They're awakening to where they are and why they're here. And again, that's why I started my community called Awaken Your Magic. I want to help people awaken to this truth. And unfortunately, part of this journey is understanding the dark. And I think that's why I was called to grab this deck. You know, it's symbolic, and then we got the Lover's card at the bottom, but it's symbolic of we have to be able to look at the shadow. We have to, you guys. We cannot fight it without looking at it. We cannot shove it under the rug any longer. And basically, I like to believe, yes, hear the information about it, but leave it there. Don't take it into your energetic field, right? You can still be rainbows and sunshines and butterflies and all that stuff. And I still live my life that way. I have certain people in my life who like to do that kind of research. I let them do it. They're great for that. I go to them when I need information and then I leave it. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I know what it is now. Because we are all very intuitive. We have dreams, we have these premonitions, we have things going on, and we have to be able to make sense of it. You know, if we're being guided to move to a different state and you're not aware of the darkness, right? And you're not moving, well, maybe your guides are, maybe there's going to be some sort of flooding where you live right now, and you're being guided to move to a different state and you're not paying attention and not listening. So this is where it gets serious. And that's why we do these readings. And that's why we listen to our intuition, is because we want to get the right guidance, you know? And I believe that nothing will really pass us by. I believe your guides will literally make your own personal house have a lot of problems to move you out. If you're not getting the message, they will force the message to happen. So you can trust that. So don't panic. But I think I was guided to grab that crystal to remind you to ground down, because the whole collective energy it's like a collective unrest. There's half the world knows about all this stuff and half the world doesn't, and they want to shove it under a rug. And we have to balance the energies for both. Because I believe there's fear on both sides. You can be spiritually awakened and be a light worker and have a lot of fear. You can, because you see so much and you know too much. And then you can be somebody over here who doesn't know anything, but you just see all the chaos happening and you're just in fear and you don't have any faith in anything. So there's a lot of collective unrest. And if you're a light being like me, which you are, because you're here in my community or on my channel, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel it in the middle of the night. You're going to feel it when you go to stores. So knowing as much as you can, you guys, it's really, really, really important. And that's why I want to invite you into my community, because we're going to be talking about all the positive stuff. And every once in a while, I'm going to trickle in some, hey, just a heads up, just heard this, or people are going to share their stories too. But we're just going to keep expanding our consciousness so we can see all sides of it and be prepared for anything. Okay. This is the Two of Pentacles. I see this as like, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the Two of Pentacles is balancing things wisely, balancing the budget, balancing play with work. It could basically relate to so many different things in your life. But in this specific deck, in this card, what is she holding? It's a purse, right? And it's also, if you can see that as the moon or the sun, it's kind of like balancing the 5D with the 3D. Okay, so we have to be aware of what's going on in the 3D, the purse, that's the material world. We have to be aware of what's going on with our financial structures. My throat chakra is going a little crazy. And they just brought my attention to my ring. I'm wearing one of my great-great-grandmother's ring. My mom gave it to me. My mom gave it to me, and I love it. And I felt guided to wear it today. And I feel like that's going back to that time. My great-grandmother was born, I think, in 1902. So going back to that era where she lived, like all those ancestral patterns and the things that she endured, we are actually carrying that. They just said, this purse holds your ancestral patterns. So when we are balancing the material world with the physical world, or the material world is the physical world, but when we're balancing it with the soul work, right? The moon and the sun represent kind of like the cosmos, the 5D energy, the healing part of your life. We have to be able to balance both. So being spiritually awakened is really, 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 really freaking hard when you have to be at work and do the material things and pay your bills. Okay, so high five to you, because you're doing it and you're doing okay. Okay, so rest as much as you can, but this is you balancing the spiritual world and the physical world, knowing what's going on with the light, what's going on with the dark, right? We have to see all sides. And she's looking down. She doesn't want to look at it all. She doesn't want to deal with it. She's struggling to balance it, and she just doesn't want to do it. So let's get some more cards on that. Nine of Pentacles. Money does grow on trees. I like this card a lot. And look, Spirit is the bird. Spirit is handing her each dime, penny, $1 million, $500,000, $30,000, whatever you are manifesting, it's coming from Spirit. And it's also coming from Mother Earth. So if you are, and the reason why they say Mother Earth is because they're showing me nature is so abundant. So when you get outside in nature, when you surround yourself with trees and the sunshine, and you just feel like you're taken care of. All of your problems, your financial worries start to get smaller when you're out in nature, because you feel so small on this planet. And it's like balancing the budget is kind of like, if you're being forced, I just got a really strong message. Holy cow, I felt like somebody just pushed me from behind. Okay, so really listen up. If you feel like right now you've been manifesting money or an opportunity to make more money and nothing is dropping in, it is because you're being forced to be the one in your family, in the ancestral line, to heal the karmic patterns of lack in your family. Okay. And they did not know this. They did not believe, maybe they did, I don't know, but most of our grandparents and great grandparents did not believe that money was an energy. They didn't understand that if their thoughts were, if they were to think thoughts about abundance and being out in nature and attracting it and doing less and receiving more, which is kind of what this card means. You're doing less and receiving more because you're realizing that money does grow from trees. But you didn't know that back then. Money can come from thin air. Your grandparents, your great grandparents, they didn't know that. So these are two great cards about money and how you are being forced right now to be the one in your family, hence why they had me wear this ring today. Didn't mean to flip you guys off. But it's a really pretty ring. But you're being the one to heal this in your family line. And once you heal it, in order to heal it, you have to feel it. So, I believe there's certain times in my life where I'm feeling what my mama went through as a kid or what my great grandmother went through as a kid. And I know that I'm being forced to heal it. And even my mom too. So the purse is representing the baggage from the past around finances. And with the way the world is going, you guys, we have no idea what's going to happen. There's so many predictions out there about our structure crumbling, like the actual money structure, because we're in so much debt in our country. So what would it look like if all the banks just shut down and people didn't have money and there was no stores because nothing was working and there was just the whole thing crumbles? Guess what? You're going to be somebody that trusts that every need will be met because you have faith in God and the universe. So if you're going without money right now, you're being shown an opportunity to practice manifesting money from thin air, which means, and they just talked about my dress. So the other night I was thinking, I have an event coming up. It's called the Goddess Gathering. And it's all for women. And it's like a healing group. It's like 4 hours on a Saturday. I'm presenting in the group. And we just had a little meeting about it today. But I was trying to figure out what to wear because we have to dress like divine feminines. And I was like, man, I really need like a really beautiful, like flowy, presentable. I want to look presentable. I don't want to be too revealing anywhere. I want it to be like a good length, not too short. And I had this vision in my head of this dress, this exact dress. I wanted like a halter. I wanted it to tie in the back, which it does, which I love. And I shit you not, I had to house sit last week for a family. And the mom, right before I went to go house sit, she sent me a text and she was like, hey, I bought this dress and I ordered two by accident. Do you want one? And I was like, oh my God, did I just manifest a dress for the Goddess Gathering? And I was like, send me a picture. So she sent me it. And I put yes with like the heart eye emojis. And I just was like, holy cow, I just instantly manifested a dress for this Goddess Gathering. This dress is perfect. It's like mid thigh height. It's not too short because we're going to be dancing. We're going to be moving. I'm going to be teaching about manifestation. We're going to get beautiful. My friend Loretta's making us beautiful divine feminine like crowns. And it's just going to be really cool. But we can manifest, to get back to the reading, I have learned the art of thinking thoughts and then receiving things from thin air. This dress came to me. I had the thought, I had the vision, I knew what I wanted, kind of wasn't sure what color I was going to go with. I was thinking we should all wear white, but then I was like, no, we love beautiful colors with like roses and flowers and stuff. So when Missy sent me the text saying she had gotten a dress, I looked at the color of the dress and I was like, that is perfect, Spirit. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I get to the house and she had it on the little nightstand for me, all wrapped and gifted. And I'm like, I just manifested a free dress. Like, this is so cool that we can literally think thoughts and God in the universe knows exactly the size. Like, this is the perfect size too. Like, to me, it blows my mind. Even though I believe in manifestation, I teach it, I live it, I experience it weekly. When these things happen, I still have to like pinch myself and be like, did you really just manifest a dress for free out of nowhere? And I didn't even have to go shopping. I didn't even have to go online. It literally just drops in. And this is why, again, I'm going to talk about it all the time, why I created my community. because I want you all understanding that if something were to happen in the world, you can still attract things when everybody thinks you can't. You are a powerful co-creator. Do you guys hear me? I'm going to get really close to the camera. You can make money grow on trees. I believe it. I've seen it in my own life. We can literally think a thought and it can just appear. Okay, so please trust this. And if you don't know how to do it and you're sitting there going, I'm manifesting this and nothing's coming in, I invite you to open yourself up. And my cord just drops. That's confirmation. Open yourself up to the universe deciding for you. Okay, say, universe, angels, guides, I don't know what's best for me. Can you bring me what's best for me? Give me small manifestations. I am so open. I'm not going to focus on the $1 million. Let me focus on the small things. I want to manifest a dress. I want to manifest new socks. Ask for anything. And this practice, I'm telling you, this practice is going to get you used to doing this, because when we need to do big things, it's going to be believable. Like, you're actually going to be like, okay, if I can manifest X, Y, and Z, then I can manifest big things when I need it. Like a boat, if we ever get a tsunami. I'm just kidding. But I have been having tons of dreams of tsunamis for the last 2.5 years, like literally all the time. And I'm like, I always thought it was just like, all right, water represents emotion, or it's like a wave of abundance. But now I'm like, oh crap, are we really going to get tsunamis? Ooh, we have the Knight of Cups. Sexy. I'm already dressed and ready for my date. Take me out, buddy. So the Knight of Cups, he's exactly that. And I actually matched this. We would look really good together. If you can see the little envelope with the heart, that means he's like really romantic. He's written you a love letter. He's speaking from the heart. He's got the blanket laid out. He's got the roses. He's got his hat off because he's very like chivalrous. He's a gentleman. He's patient. He's sitting there. He's leaned in. He wants to know more about you. There's so much in this card that's like just the beautiful kind of knight in shining armor. Like, I want to get to know you. I want to nurture you. I want to take care of you. I want to give you an experience that you won't forget. So this is totally aside. If we were to connect it though to the abundance, the Knight of Cups is very the Knight of Pentacles is very slow moving and he's a planner, but the Knight of Cups is kind of like how would you describe him? He's more of like the soft, feminine, detail-oriented. He's sensitive. We'll put it that way. The Knight of Pentacles is grounded. He's a planner. He likes to have things organized. The Knight of Cups is like the more sensitive man who really wants to take care of your emotional needs. And it's because he has amazing emotional needs that he needs taken care of too. So it's kind of like he understands your emotional needs. It's basically somebody who maybe has had anxiety his whole life. So he gets it when you have anxiety. Okay, let's keep going. And this could be, you guys, I'm never, focusing on one gender. I know we always talk about he and divine masculine, but that could be for feminine too. I do tons of readings for same-sex couples. And it's so cool to see that dynamics, especially with two men. I love to see the dynamics and how they bounce back and forth in the masculine and in the feminine energies. Not one normally holds the core. So it's kind of neat to see how that plays out with the same-sex partnerships. Okay, Ace of Wands. Again, my nose. Sorry, guys. Ace of Wands. And fiery energy. They're lighting my nose up. So this is somebody bursting with ideas. She's laying in meditations, and I believe she's manifesting this. She's calling this type of partner in. She knows it's possible. She saw him. I just heard, they just said she saw him or he saw her before they met. So whether you dreamt, they're showing me dreams now. The fire inside of her head is dreams. It's her dream space. So somebody, you dreamt of your person before you met them. And then when you met them, you were like, oh my gosh, they exist. Like, holy cow, how is this possible? But now I'm hearing that because of the way the world is moving, especially with this solar eclipse, this fiery energy, there's a new beginning. This is new passion. This is a new start in something. And when it comes after the Knight of Cups, that's usually like a new start in love, being asked out on a date, right? Maybe you both share the same passion for life and love and connection. Okay, they just said to use the spell casting deck. So let's see what we have. Justice and freedom. I believe we got freedom last time. This seems to be a theme. So this new partnership, somebody's getting their justice. They're being set free from either a previous situation where they felt bound, they felt restricted, they felt like they couldn't be themselves, they felt like maybe they couldn't be this romantic person that they wanted to be for you because they were held up. But now justice has been served, they are set free. They can now come to you with this offer, with this fiery offer, and maybe you guys are going to work together because wands represent the mission work. So maybe there's some sort of connection with that too. And maybe if we do take this into an entire love reading, the Nine of Pentacles now and the Two of Pentacles, this is what was holding that person up. They couldn't balance. Maybe they couldn't figure out what their mission was. They couldn't figure out what would bring them the most abundance. They didn't believe that God could bring them the money if they were to take a leap of faith and not do a typical 9-to-5 job. But maybe they did. And maybe now they're realizing, holy cow, I can do this. I can have faith and trust. So now I can come towards my feminine or masculine and I can be the person I want to be for them. So it's like they did the work to get here. And now they have their justice. Now they're getting everything that they worked hard for. And look at her holding the two scales. They're balanced. I like to believe, my one friend texted me. Sorry, just needed a quick little sip. My one friend texted me and she was talking about how COVID was such like a hard time for her. And she wasn't in alignment back then. She was just spiritually awakened. And I told her, I'm like, listen, if anything else were to happen in the world this year, similar to that, where maybe the world, we have some sort of thing that happens. I told her, I'm like, now that you're on this path, you're in alignment, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're following the nudges, you're taking leaps of faith, you're not entertaining people that are using you, you're not engaging with toxic environments, you're literally on a healing journey. I told her, like, you will be protected. Your finances will be met during any time of chaos in the world. I made the most money during COVID for me in 2020, why other people, they were going through the upheaval in their life. They were spiritually awakening, where, 3 years before that, I was going through upheaval in my life. I was spiritually awakening. I was going through all of these hard times and I was just struggling financially. So I went through my hard time before 2020. So then when 2020 hit, I was in alignment. I was doing good. I was saving money. I was feeling so like, let me show up and do readings for as many people as I can because they all don't know what's happening in the world and I can help them. Like, to me, 2020 was like, all right, Michelle, put on your cape. Let's go save everybody. And I don't have a savior complex. I know that's not my job to save anybody, but I felt like people didn't have faith and they didn't have trust. And, they were making decisions for them and their families and their bodies. And I was just like, but really think about it. You know what I mean? Just really like helping them listen to their intuition to make the best choice for them. So I felt like Superwoman during that time, or Wonder Woman. I was just like, yes. I was like, I can't wait to show up for these people because I'm prepared. I'm spiritually like sound and strong and grounded. And it just felt good. So if you're worried that something, when the world, when we're talking about these things and you're thinking about the world kind of, going to shit in certain ways, guess what? You're here. You're going to be taken care of because you're in alignment. You're needed during this time. So you're not going to crumble. Okay. I love to believe that. And it usually is true. What we believe is true. So if you believe that you'll be taken care of, you'll be taken care of. Okay, we're going to do Angels of Abundance. It's a really beautiful, beautiful picture on the front of this deck. Okay, Law of Attraction. I might need my glasses for this. Yes, I can't see it. Okay. Each thought is an investment that pays immediate dividends, so invest wisely. You have the power to choose your thoughts and align them with love, peace, and harmony. At your request, we will gladly attune your energies to higher frequencies. So, did you guys hear that? At your request, we will gladly attune your energies to higher frequencies. So, there's a beautiful card. Look at all the animals. So when you ask, when you literally say, universe, please attune me to the frequency of abundance, attune me so that I can receive money from thin air. I will be open. I will be excited. Look at this woman's face. She's like, this is so cool. It's kind of like me receiving the dress, you know, like getting that text message. I literally like laughed out loud. I really wish I had a husband at that point because I looked around my house and there was just nobody to physically tell. You know, obviously I can tell my family and my friends and stuff and people in my community. But in that moment, I just like literally laughed out loud. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like I just had the thought the other day that I need a dress for the goddess gathering. And it just came through a text. Like I'm telling you, it's a pinch me moments. That's what this card is saying. You can attune your vibration to be able to be the person that is receiving these things out of thin air. And again, if it's not working for you, there's something blocking it. There's something that you're missing. There's some piece of your energetic field that isn't quite attuned to that. And you can ask Spirit for guidance. And Spirit will bring you to a YouTube channel. It'll bring you to a reader, to a coach. It'll bring you to a healer. Maybe you'll start getting Reiki done. Your nervous system has to be pure and has to be cleansed to be able to receive so effortlessly. Your belief system has to be pure too. Okay, I just got guided to do my money deck, messages for money. I highly recommend you guys buying my decks because they are so fun. The Micah Magic is so fun. We're going to use that next. The Ever Unfolding Heart. These are all on my website and they're all in the description box below. But messages from money are direct messages from money because money is like an energy. It's like your best friend and it wants to talk to you and it wants to tell you why you're not allowing this in. It's going to tell you why you're not balancing your budget well. And it could be that ancestral baggage, things from your past. My ego just said, Michelle, you shouldn't be wearing this ring if your grandmother was poor. Right? That's silly. It's not about the item. It's about the belief system. It's about what I am believing to be true about myself. And I actually don't know. And it was my great grandmother. So I don't even know if my mom's mom's side of the family, that's who my great grandmother is on that side. I wonder if they were wealthy or not. I'll have to ask my mom. You guys see that jumper? Before you give me to somebody, bless me. So anytime you're passing off your credit card, you're swiping it, or maybe you're giving cash or tipping somebody, give a little prayer as you're handing it over. Say, universe, bless this money to this person. Put your white light around this money because we want to be putting out good energy. I talked about this in an entire video. Maybe I'll link it here. But I was talking about how light workers sometimes resist money because we know that there's money being exchanged out in the world for weapons, for war, for all of these toxic things like porn and, certain acts that people pay for. So we somehow energetically know that certain dollar bills, we don't know where it's been. It could have been in another state, country, wherever, and we don't know what it was used for, exchanged for, or what somebody bought with it. There's human, I don't want to say it out loud, but so as light workers, we kind of resist money and we're like, no, we shouldn't get paid for our gifts. No, we want to get paid for our gifts because we want to get the money. And guess what we're going to do with it? We're going to be the sage. We're going to cleanse that money so good We're going to bless it, and then we're going to send it back out. So we put out more light into this world. Okay. So that's why I channeled this card, is because we need to transmute all the darkness in the world. And that also is in regards to money. And maybe that's why our financial system is possibly going to crumble, is because it's so dark and there's so much negativity around it. And we're going to change that. We're not going to stay in the darkness. We're not going to worry about it. Yes. See, this matched my energy. Did you guys see my face light up as I said that? That we're going to change the dark. And then this card came out. Feel the excitement of having money. Do not resist it. You are so worthy. Like, even if you're just somebody who doesn't need the money, but you're just like, no, like, you don't have to pay me. No, you want to tell the universe that you are worthy of receiving. You are worthy of giving. When you bless the money, you're worthy of giving it out, because you're giving out brighter, cleansed money, right? Like, you're taking the money in, you're cleaning it up, you're getting all the muck off of it energetically, and then you're worthy of pushing it back out. And we have to be okay with that flow. It's like the waves, right? They just totally blocked my throat chakra for a second. Woo. But feeling the excitement, it'll take your breath away. The money that's going to drop in for you guys this week, it's going to take your breath away. And they just said, yeah, when I told you about 2020 and how I made the most money back then, I sold my condo. I was living with my brother. I was saving so much money. I started my mindfulness program. I made like $150,000 in like a couple months. It was so freaking cool. That was the start of my abundance, all of those waves of abundance. First, I sold my condo. I got a nice little paycheck for that. Then I was staying with my brother, so I was saving. I didn't have to pay rent because I sold my condo. And I had that condo since my daughter was born, actually since my first year of teaching, which was in 2005. So I sold my condo in 2020, and I'd had it since 2005. So that was a huge energetic let go, because I had my daughter there. I was with my partner, Bill. We were there for 8 years. We lived together in that condo. So that was a huge chunk of my past. When I sold it, I was letting go of that version of me. And when I let go of that, that's when the mindfulness program showed up, and it made me $150,000. And I was like, this is so cool. Because the actual condo, I was supposed to make $50,000 on that sale. And I only made like less than 10 because the market was so bad. But do you see how that worked out? Anybody else would have been pissed, and they would have been upset that they didn't get the 50,000 and that they only got the less than 10. But I saw it as, no, the universe will provide that money back in another way. And literally 6 months later, my bank account was filled with money, and it was like triple the amount. Like, how cool is that, right? So have faith. When things don't go your way, the universe has something scheduled for you that you just can't quite see. And sometimes we have to be patient, and we have to say, okay, I had to wait the 6 months, but in that 6 months, I became a new person. I started to film. I started to do all these different things. I was putting myself out there more. I became the person that wanted to receive the abundance in a new way that I've never received it before. So if you're somebody who's expecting money to come from a certain sale or an expected way, throw that out the window, because I had no idea that I was going to make any money. The mindfulness program didn't even exist yet when I sold my condo. The offer, now that I think about that, holy cow, I wonder if that's why the offer came in. I sold my condo in June. Yeah. And in July, the week of my daughter's birthday, July 13th is her birthday. That week, I got the offer to create the program. Holy shit. I'm just realizing this right now. Yeah. Like, so when you sell things and when you let go, new opportunities, you're creating space for something new to come in. And when I said yes to creating that program, I had no idea the impact I was going to make with being in 500 schools all over the US and Canada. I'm reaching so many kids. And right now I'm talking about money because we're talking about money. But that program, I was really manifesting reaching more kids and not having to work in a building anymore. I didn't want to be a teacher in a building. I wanted to be a teacher on a bigger scale. And I manifested it. And it happened in the coolest way, but it was right after I sold my condo. I didn't realize that. But anyway, going back to the money theme, during 2020, I had opened up all of these opportunities, right? By selling my condo. Then the new opportunity came in. Then I had to transform who I was. I had to learn how to film. I had to learn how to edit. And then all of this money dropped in a new way that it was unexpected. So this is the theme for all of you, right? If you're now just spiritually awakening, you're just like me. You're going to be called to sell things, to get rid of things, to let go. And when you do it, it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround that something new is going to come into your life. And a lot of times, people leave certain jobs and they end up at this like job that they're not really happy at, but then they meet the love of their life. You know what I mean? Like all these cool things happen that you can't quite see. So stay open. Okay. This time of year might be really abundant for all of you because we're in alignment, we're spiritually awakened, we're shining our light. And I believe we get justice for that. You're going to get rewarded for the work that you're doing. The internal work of working through the finances in your ancestral line, that gets rewarded. Because when you're doing that work, guess what you're doing? You're freeing up your belief systems. You're getting ready to purge all of those beliefs from your family that you don't have to carry anymore. Okay, the ever unfolding heart. Let's go. Let's see, Micah. Whoa. Spice up your relationship. Send a cute, flirty text. Surprise your partner with a gift. Oh, do something different each month to keep that fire burning. If you're single, call in this type of relationship for yourself. Heck yes. My God, I cannot wait to be in a partnership with somebody. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to like surprise them all the time. I have so many, like when I'm with somebody, I always get like the coolest ideas. Are you guys like that too? It's not even like, and it is the person sparks certain energies in me. Like I've had all different kinds of boyfriends and girlfriends actually in the past. Yes, I've dated women too. But I do want to end up with a man. I just feel more connected to that. But again, a soul is a soul. And I don't know if I've ever shared this, but my daughter's father, he was like 20 some years older than me. So I've never been somebody who's restricted myself with who I am interested in. It's always just the soul is the soul. But whoever I was with, I always found a new version of myself. I always found a new way to do things. And sometimes I would repeat patterns and I would kind of do the same things from boyfriend to boyfriend. And then I realized that's not healthy, Michelle. You probably shouldn't do that. And that was part of my character that my ego that I had to let go of. Because every soul is so different and they all have different needs and you can't do the same thing with everybody. So when I get this card, and why I created this card was to send a cute flirty text. If your relationship is stagnant right now, you're being guided to spice it up. Do something different. Allow your creativity to soar. Be like the Knight of Cups. He's so creative. Even though this looks pretty traditional, like roses, a picnic, a letter, but the way he does it might make it really special. So remember that you can do mundane things in regards to gifting your partner something. Like you can do something really basic, but it's the energy behind it, which is important. And that's why I was talking about this card, because even though you're doing the same thing for, 3 or 4 different people, the energy behind it for that person and their energy is going to be different. So you can kind of repeat, but you're not going to have the same intention behind it, right? Because it's just the repeating pattern is the actual idea or the gift or it's just physically whatever you're planning to do for that person. But you can have a totally different energy behind it that adds a little spice to it. And don't forget, if you're single, you're being called to call in this type of partnership where you don't have to go the extra mile for your person, but you just do what feels good in the moment. Be spicy, be fun, be flirty and cute, because that's what keeps things going. You have to actually, do a little work at it. And I always like to believe we just got the starting fresh card, which is the yin yang, which is like a perfect pair. A wonderful new beginning is blossoming in my life. Yep. That's the new partnership. Remember I talked about the new relationship? That could be this coming in. And you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You just be you. And in these healthy partnerships, these awakened partnerships, There is no, let me dress a certain way to please this person. It is 100% you dress for you, you cook for you, you clean for you. And that other person just gets to enjoy watching you live life. They're cheering you on. You're not, because a codependent relationship or conditional love, that's somebody thinking they need to do all those things to be loved. And guess what happens with conditional love? It doesn't last. Once the conditions stop, the love goes away. So that's why a lot of marriages end, because it was built on conditional love. Unconditional love is saying, hey, you can dress, be, do, say anything, and I still love you. And that love never, ever, ever stops getting spicy because it's just there. And I believe that God makes us certain people, make certain people to be with us that hold that unconditional love. I don't think we can find that with multiple people on this planet. I think there's a select few that we are meant to share unconditional love with. Because you know those people that you're with and you're like, oh, they could mess up, they could do anything, and I still love them. And then there's other people who are like, no, they're definitely a soulmate. That drives me nuts when they do this. You know, I don't still love them. That's a soulmate. A twin flame or a deep connection of unconditional love is where somebody can do anything and you just still think it's cute. In the moment, it can drive you nuts, but you still just love them. You can't stop loving them. And the cool thing is we get shown these relationships and people do really horrible things to poke us. Maybe they cheat on you, maybe they lie to you, maybe they withhold the truth, maybe they they're just not being good. They're poking something inside of you to help you heal. And you're being forced to experience this pain to set you free, because these unconditional love partnerships know that they can do this to you, not consciously. It's on a soul level. Their soul has a plan to do this for you to make you evolve and be better. And deep down, they do it. And they know that you're still going to accept them afterwards. You're still going to end up being together. And it's part of just the going through the weeds part of the journey. And that's why I think it's the most beautiful thing when couples, when they go through a divorce, they get back together, or they cheat and then they get back together, because that shows the growth. That shows that person, they chose to go through that kind of trauma and heal it. But both people have to want to do the work. Okay, Micah Magic. Final cards for this reading. We have love is all around you. So good. It's an emotional time. Be gentle with yourself. Meditate. Your current energy is creating your future. This is all manifestation energy. And then sit tight. Things are being moved for you. So love is all around you. That's saying the universe has your back. Do not worry. If it's an emotional time, be gentle, meditate, take care of yourself, because your current energy is creating the future. So you want to make sure you're being gentle with yourself. You don't want to be panicked. And then we have sit tight. So the fact that we have meditate and sit tight is a sign of rest. Okay, so to end this reading, and I don't know why they just said don't end it. I don't know what other deck. Okay. Did we already do this deck? Yeah, no, we didn't. Okay. We're going to end with Oracle of Angels. Sorry, I was planning on ending it, but then they just said no. So we're going to meditate. We're going to rest. What else, Spirit? Final message. Okay, we have 2. Health. Ooh, and never alone. I love this. Oh, this is so perfect. In my community group, we just did a Zoom call on Friday night, and the never alone card, if you can see who's behind her, Spirit is behind her. And this is exactly what I was teaching in the reading on Zoom. I was telling everybody on the Zoom that in your life, when you feel like you have to make decisions for your family, maybe signing your kids up for certain schools, maybe taking them out to homeschool them, maybe you're getting divorced or changing jobs. If you feel like you can't figure out your next steps, you lean back into soul. Your soul is behind you. You take your hands off the wheel, you lean back, and you say, soul, show me the way. Spirit, show me the way. I'm taking my hands off the wheel. Please take me and move me to the best decision for me and my family. And when the fact that we're getting health is very unique too, because I see this as we have to make the best decisions for our health. If we are not in environments that are healthy for us, we're going to suffer. And Spirit is saying, please start making better decisions for you and the health of your family and yourself. And if it means that you're in a partnership where it's just constant ridicule and destruction and it's not healthy, you have to lean on Spirit and say, move me out of this. Help me see how I can get out of this situation, because I cannot drive this car. I don't know how to do it, Spirit. So you lean back and then you wait for the breadcrumb. You say, change me into a person who will see the signs and will take action when I need to. Every day you wake up and say, universe, move me. Where will you have me go? What will you have me do? Who will you have me see? And what will you have me say? Bring me all the magic today. Every day you say that prayer, and I'm telling you, Spirit will show up and it will guide you. Remember, I talked about, I felt like I was being pushed from behind during this reading. That's this energy. You're all protected by a spirit behind you who's guiding you and pushing you to certain people, pushing you to certain places. We have to start following it, because otherwise, if we don't, we're going to suffer. Our health will suffer. So please take care of your emotional body so that your physical body can thrive. Okay. Now I feel complete. I hope all of you feel complete. Remember, new beginnings in love, balancing the budget, knowing that money and anything can be manifested from thin air. Your justice is being served. Your freedom is coming. You're starting fresh with the yin yang, balancing that light and dark. And look, it's all nature too. And it has the moon, it has the sun. So the solar eclipse energy here. Spirit is all around you. If you are in a partnership or you're about to be in one, it's time to spice it up. Get really creative with your gifts and your dates and your letters. Somebody's going to be writing you a letter, maybe. Maybe they're going to leave it at your doorstep. That's always been a fun dream for me. I love letters. And then don't forget the law of attraction too. And when you're spending money, you're blessing it, right? We're putting money out there. We're asking for our guides to raise our vibration so that we can attract more. And look at all the spirit animals. They are going to guide you. So don't forget to call on your spirit animals. All right, lovies, you are never alone. I am sending you so much love. If you need a personal reading, you can click anything down below in the description box. You can join my 8-week mentorship, join my community. I am here to help you in any way. All right, I am sending you so much love. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for supporting me and my channel. All right, peace out.